We ask our guests and visitors in the rear of the chamber and in the gallery to please stand for the prayer. We ask our Assembly Chaplain, Father Constantine Papadimos, to offer the day's prayer.
Good morning. Let us pray. Lord, when the psalmist asked you to teach us the number of our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom, he was saying, teach us to value every moment we've been given. Some days can be so full and busy that we forget how precious and fragile life is. Grant, Lord, that we remember that each day is a gift from you. Each day is unique and irreplaceable. Help us to keep a proper perspective and to draw closer to you so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Amen.
We ask our guests and visitors to remain standing and join us for the flag salute. Please join Assemblymember Jones as he leads us in the pledge. Mr. Jones.
Members and guests, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Reading of the previous day's journal.
Assembly Chamber, Sacramento, Thursday, March 7, 2012. The Assembly met at 9 a.m. Honorable Fiona Moss, Speaker Pro Tem of the Assembly, Presiding Chief Gary Dawson Wilson.
Mr. Calderon moves and Ms. Conway seconds that the reading of the previous day's journal be dispensed with. Presentations of petitions, there are none. Introduction and reference of bills will be deferred. Reports of committees will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Messages from the governor, there are none. Messages from the Senate, there are none. Motions and resolutions. The absences for the day will be deemed read and printed in the journal. Mr. Calderon.
Yeah, I almost, no, it was my son. I almost did. I didn't want to intrude.
No. I had more members of mine than yours, more Democrat members.
Yeah, I know. I saw a lot of them. Yes. Madam Speaker and members, I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 118 to allow Assembly Member Norby to have a guest at his desk and a photographer on the floor.
Without objection.
Also, I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 45.5 to allow Assembly Members Galgiani, Huffman, Nielsen, Manuel Perez to speak on adjourn in memory.
Without objection. Okay, Ms. Bonilla has some guests she'd like to announce. Ms. Bonilla.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. It is an honor to stand here and to recognize the Leadership Academy from Tabernacle School from my hometown of Concord. I'd ask the students to rise as I read a little bit about what Tabernacle and their Leadership Academy is about, if they would like to stand. Tabernacle was founded in 1971. From their small beginnings, they've grown to hundreds of students in pre-kindergarten to the 8th grade. And the students that are here today are part of the Tabernacle School's Leadership Training Institute, and they're here. Good. Coming in and standing up. Very good. And their Leadership Institute prepares the students to be ethical leaders of our nation through the belief that these children are the nation's future leaders. And the Leadership Academy curriculum is based on character building. The leadership training emphasizes public service, thus that these students are working on projects such as sending care packages to military personnel serving overseas, as well as providing care packages to their families for helping our local homeless. Tabernacle students also work with the community to send gift boxes as part of Operation Christmas Child to children in Africa and organize activities for seniors at local convalescent homes. I'm so glad that they were able to join us today. They are up there in the balcony, and we welcome you all, future leaders of America from Concord, California. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Hagman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I'd like to introduce a couple of guests of mine today, too. As we all know, the decisions we make affect a lot of residents of California, but Where the rubber really meets the road is with our local electeds. And I have a great power team out of the Inland Empire. County Supervisor Gary Ovitt from 4th District San Bernardino, and his wife Sue Ovitt, who's with the Ontario Joint Union High School District Board of Trustees. So thank you both for coming and joining us today.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I'd also like to introduce some guests up in the gallery today from Grossmont Union High School District. It is their Career Technical Education and ROP program. All of these young folks are involved in education program pathways that will lead them into vocational and technical training and direct pathways into some of our CSU systems and other schools. So please welcome them from Grossmont Union High School District.
Okay, business on the daily file, second reading. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1438 with amendments and Assembly Bill 1445.
All bills will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Assembly third reading, there is none. Senate third reading, there is none. There is a consent calendar today. Consent calendar. Clerk will read.
Senate concurrent resolution 61 by Assemblymember Evans and others relative to Cervical Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to vote on the consent calendar. Clerk will open the roll on the consent calendar. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Aye 63, no 0. On the consent calendar, the consent calendar is adopted. This concludes the business on the daily file. We will now move to announcements and adjourn in memories. The following members were approved for adjourn in memories today: Ms. Galgiani, Mr. Huffman, Mr. Nielsen, and Mr. V. Emanuel Perez. Who is ready? Mr. Nielsen? Your adjourn in memory?
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that this Assembly respectfully adjourn in memory of Cottonwood Fire Captain Mark Rathledge. He died February 29th, responding to an accident, providing Samaritan service to help another person. Another car crashed into that accident, killing Mark Rathledge. He leaves behind a fiancée, a one-year-old daughter, a family. I attended with Senator Lamalfa his service in Reading on Sunday, and the incredible affection and turnout affirmed the quality of that human being and the fellowship and camaraderie of those in our fire services of California. I ask that we adjourn in his honor. Thank you.
Mr. Huffman?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is a sad but distinct honor to rise and adjourn in memory today of a great community leader and elected official, also a dear friend of mine, longtime Marin County Supervisor Hal Brown. After nearly 30 years of public service, Hal lost a long and difficult battle with cancer last week. He was appointed county supervisor in Marin in 1983 by his cousin, Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown in his first run as governor. And I think Marin County didn't quite know what to expect from this family member of the governor, who was a surprise appointment as county supervisor. But what they got was someone who, over a number of years, carved out a very unique brand of politics. He wasn't a guy that hung around the Civic Center with the chattering class. He didn't care too much to spend time with those that were active politically. He left his chambers and he went into his district and he connected with his constituents. You would find him at Little League games. You would find him at Rotaries. You would find him connecting in a very authentic way with the people that he always knew he was there to work for and serve. Of course, the record will show the many contributions he made to public policy over the decades, but what the record may not show, but is also a very important testament to this great man, is the fact that he was a great family man. He loved his two sons, Michael and Chris, very much, his wife, Gloria, to the very end. He was a great friend of mine and a great advisor. Hal Brown was really the oracle of Marin County politics, and I can't tell you how many times I went to his living room, and he was idiosyncratic. He would chain smoke, he would drink Cokes, and he would dispense political wisdom that was unparalleled in Marin County. He's going to be greatly missed, and I ask that we adjourn in memory of Hal Brown.
Mr. Amiano.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to echo the comments of Assembly Member Huffman. I worked with Hal Brown for 12 years as a member of the Golden Gate Bridge District. I enjoyed his wit. He was the funniest guy on the planet, and he could just make the most appropriate remarks with an understated flair and would have us all in stitches. But he was also extremely substantive. He was a populist. His positions on labor, the labor negotiations for the Bridge District are tricky because there's so many different unions represented, mostly crafts. He went to every labor negotiation. And as Jared said, I would always meet him outside. He'd have an open neck shirt on, drinking a Coke, smoking a cigarette, red-faced, would give me some static about some only in San Francisco issue. He really will be missed. I think that type of engagement with constituents is something that is rarer now than it's been before. And he became president of the board and was required to wear a tie. So every tie that he wore became at least a few minutes comment every morning before we started the meeting. So God love you, Hal. I know you're up there enjoying a Lucky Strike or something, and we really are going to miss you.
Mr. V. Manuel Perez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I rise today with a heavy heart to adjourn in the memory of a close personal friend. Catalina Huerta Lopez left us on February 29, 2012 at the age of 87. Known to all of us as Mama Cata, she was born in a small town near Jalisco, Mexico. She was always proud, reminding us all that she was from Mexticacan and not Guadalajara. Doña Lopez's love for education and teaching prompted her to study at the Universidad de Guadalajara, where she received a master's degree in education. She was an educator for 18 years, teaching in Jalisco, Mexicali, and Tijuana. She relocated to the United States around 1964 and devoted herself to her children, Vicente, Rodolfo, Miguel, Margaret, Elena, Roberto, Javier, and Rudy. Her children remember her as a witty person who loved and cherished the moments when her family would get together for celebrations, both big and small. Mama Cata leaves a tremendous legacy, particularly with regard to education, a value that she instilled in all her children. She will remain a giant in the Coachella Valley because of how well she raised her children. All of them have gone on to do amazing things, serving the community, including obtaining doctorate and law degrees. Doña Lopez is survived by 6 children, 13 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. I hope you all join me in paying respects to the familia Lopez and Miss Mama Cata, Doña Lopez, and extend them our sincerest condolences. Thank you.
And Ms. Galgiani.
Thank you. I rise today to adjourn in memory of Douglas Wood Wilhoit Sr. of Stockton. He passed away February 23, 2012. Doug was very proud to have been born a native Californian and a fourth-generation member of long-standing Stockton historical family. He will be missed by many, including his wife of 70 years, Olympe Bradna Wilhoit, 3 children and 5 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. He began a very successful and distinguished career as a realtor with the Sims and Groupie Real Estate Company. As a realtor, he was very involved with the Stockton Board of Realtors and was one of the founders of both the Multiple Listing Tour and the Realtors Annual Can Tree Drive. Thank you in joining me to honor the life of Mr. Douglas Wood Wilhoit Sr.
Thank you, members. Please bring the names to the desk to be printed in the journal. The session schedule is as follows. Friday, March 9th, no session, no check-in. Monday, March 12th, floor session at 12 noon. Tuesday, March 13th, check-in session. Wednesday, March 14th, check-in session. Thursday, March 15th, floor session at 9 a.m. All other items remaining will be passed and retained. All motions shall be continued. I'm ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Calderon moves and Mr. Jones seconds that this House stands adjourned until Monday, March 12th at 12 p.m. noon. Quorum calls lifted.